Welcome to Straightway Through with Gina, the podcast where we say it straight, we say it true, we say it with kindness, every time, to the best of our ability. I'm your host, Gina Mangello, coach, writer, creative. I help highly sensitive overthinkers take action in their relationships. This podcast is all about communication, all aspects of communication. You'll leave with insights into how to communicate better for more meaningful relationships, whether they're romantic relationships, friend relationships, neighbor relationships, coworker relationships, business relationships, any kind of relationship. Stay tuned for today's guest. Emma, it's great to have you here. I can't wait to see where this conversation on communication takes us today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know you're in a different time zone. You're in Australia. I'm here in New
Yes.
Jersey. So we're far,
Yes.
far apart. It's summer here and it's probably the middle of winter there, right?
Yes, it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining on a cold morning. And I'm
Mm,
going to pray first, and then we'll jump into today's communication
Sounds
topic.
good.
All right. Father God Almighty, I thank you for bringing us together. It's so interesting how you weave our paths and how we found each other years ago through another program. And here we are today on a podcast about communication and relationships and the things that happen. We know that so many people in the world suffer with relationships, whether it's close relationships, professional relationships, neighbor relationships. And we ask that you, or I ask, I'll speak for myself, I ask that you help lead, guide, and care for this episode in a way that reaches others and helps to bring fruits in their life, in their relationships, and in their communication.
Mm,
Help guide me in what I say and help guide this episode in a way that gives you glory and helps people to see all the good graces that you have for us when we ask. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, I'm super excited about this topic because I know that many have this issue. In fact, I have it. I sounds like you have it, and I bet there's a lot of
Yes.
others. So, what happens when you send a text message to someone and you see that little red symbol, word, but they don't get back to you?
So it can be varying responses from me because it depends. Some people over time, I have just come to know that they'll read it and they'll get back to it later, and they've kind of set that precedent. Whereas when it's a bit sudden and when it's a different kind of behavior to normal, or we're in the middle of a conversation and that red comes up and then they disappear, or we're organizing plans or something like that, and they leave it on red. I honestly, my first thing is that I just get annoyed,
Mm.
and I'm just like, it takes 2 seconds to, and I'm not proud of my reaction sometimes. Um, it takes 2 seconds to send a response or be like, "Oh, I'll get back to you later." That's one of my biggest things. If I can't respond, I'm like, "I'll get back to that when I've got capacity." But
Mhm.
communicating that, so when there isn't that, I find myself, I get irritated, and I
Mm.
also question, um, I question my role in the relationships, like my importance in the relationships, like, am I important to them?
All right,
Am
wait,
I
wait, wait,
not?
wait. You're saying so many good things. We have to
I know.
pause.
Sorry.
No, I mean seriously, you've already said about 10 good things that I'd love to
Mhm.
dialogue about. So if we could just pause here.
Yep.
First thing I want to mention is it's really interesting as I listen to you say when they leave it on red, it's on red. Obviously, we mean READ, but it also
Yes.
sounds like red, like a stop sign, a
Mm,
stoplight. They leave it on red, meaning it's a stop in the communication. Isn't that interesting?
that's so interesting.
Yeah, and why are they leaving it on red? Let's get to green,
Mm.
let's get to yellow, let's get to some color other than red. Not that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with red, but we know that red in our society, I'm guessing in Australia too, means stop.
Yes.
Okay. The next interesting thing that you said is you're not proud of your response. We're
Mm,
humans.
mm,
We're humans, and I think I actually love really acknowledging feelings in humans, meaning Sometimes we say that, like, I'm not proud about how I feel or how I act or how I'm responding or what I'm thinking, but those are such normal reactions.
Mm,
We don't have to necessarily react to that person with that way, but I think it's so normal to be irritated, angry, frustrated, upset, feel abandoned, whatever it is. Those are real feelings. So I want to acknowledge those feelings in you and say
yeah.
that you're a human, and I can acknowledge that, and I have those feelings too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And the next thing, and then I want to hear more from you on this, is you said sometimes you wonder if you really mean anything in the relationship. I don't think those were your exact words, but do you really
Mm,
feel cared about? Are you really
mm,
important to them? Are you a priority to them? Interestingly enough, there's probably other people that could be on the show right now and they would say something different. So, what do you think
yeah.
about that? Like, why is that your go to? Why is it my go to? It might be my go to also, but why do we have that
Mm,
go to?
I think from the research I've done from my background, like I was very heavily in the self-development world, and did a lot of inner child healing.
Hmm.
And I think it is a lot to do with how I grew up, and how I learnt to communicate. And one of the ways that my mum uh, reacted when there was something that she didn't like was to shut down and to
Mm,
give the silent treatment and to like retreat into her bedroom and just
mm,
ignore things. And I don't blame her for that. She was just trying to cope. But
hmm,
I think I definitely learnt that silence was not good. No
mm,
response was not a good thing. That there was something wrong if someone did go silent, whether that be in person or via a message. And it can be so much harder to read
hmm,
people, using the word read again, or
hmm,
read.
hmm.
It can be so much harder to read people via
Yeah.
message. So I think that reaction within me is like oh no, like, have I done something wrong?
Mm.
Have I upset someone? Are they shutting down on me? Are they retreating like my mum did?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's so powerful. That's such a great insight, and it has me thinking about not only is it a sign that something's wrong, but it's also the uncertainty. Because if
Mm,
you knew something was wrong and it was certain, you knew that this was the wrong thing that was happening or that was certain, it would at least give you that sense of knowing. But it's something
mm,
is wrong and I don't know what it is or what it's going to turn into or when the next piece of information is going to come forth.
that's
Right.
so
So it's
spot on. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like waiting and waiting. And I find that in those now I talk to a lot of highly sensitive overthinkers. Those are the the, the people that I work with best because I'm a highly sensitive overthinker and I really
Yes.
understand what it's like. And I'm not saying you are.
Oh, I
That's for you to decide.
am.
I don't go around labeling people as that. They say they raise their hands a lot when I
Yeah.
bring it up. But yeah, for highly sensitive overthinkers, that's so typical of what happens is they're trying to read their environment. They're trying to figure out what's going on because they don't have the information.
Mm,
And it's puzzling and it's confusing. And when they're in that state with all that uncertainty, it's hard to know what's going to happen next. And that's what
mm,
forces them into the mind because it feels unsafe to be in the body. You don't
yeah,
know what to expect. So you
yeah.
wind up thinking and thinking and obsessing about what's going to happen next, or when is it going to
Mm,
happen, or when am I going to hear back, that it's hard to
yes.
focus on other things.
Yep.
Right. And so, wouldn't it be nice if everyone just said, hey, I'll get back in 24 hours? Right.
It
I
would
mean,
be
that's all
so
you're
good.
asking for.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah. And the
definitely.
interesting thing about that, Emma, is I think that is something that has to be taught.
Mm,
Like, where do you think you learned that? Well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Where do you think you learned that you want to be the kind of person that gets back to someone and just says, hey, I've got a lot going on, but I'll get back to you tomorrow or next week?
mm, it's an interesting question. I think I learnt it, at the same time as I learnt that it was scary to not have that response because I didn't want other people to feel that way.
Hmm.
Like I didn't want other people to think that I was angry. So
Hmm.
I think I've I've kind of been very upfront with my emotions and my capacity. So if I don't have capacity for something, I'll be like, look, really busy right now. I'll get back to this when I can pay it the attention it deserves. So
Mm,
I don't know the exact time when I learned it, but I think it's just me not wanting other people to feel the way that I have felt.
exactly. Yeah. And that's it. I think it's uniform for humans. The things
Mm,
that were so painful for us when we were young, we go out of our way to not put that on someone else.
yeah.
And so you learned it at the same time because you
Mm,
said, I don't want to do this to other people.
yeah.
But not everybody learns that because not everybody has the same situation as, let's say, you or me. So for them, it's different. They're in a different place in their mind. And that's why I say, like, I wonder if they need that education. Meaning, if somebody's going to come into your life and have a relationship with you, a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family relationship, whatever it is, it would be so nice if we could give each other little printouts and say, "Hi, these
Mm,
are the things that really help me feel connected and like you care about me in this relationship." And of course,
mm,
they don't have to follow that. They could say, "Forget it," but then you would at least know what they were willing to do and what they weren't willing to do.
I think that's great, yeah. And
Yeah.
I
Maybe
think,
we should start making those sheets.
yeah, I think honestly, I think that's the kind of thing that some people do in romantic relationships, and they think about it
Mhm.
more in a romantic relationship context. But I think friendships kind of get forgotten about that because
Mm,
I think it's a bit more taken for granted that it's more casual. It's not the same, but it really is the same. It's just minus the romantic and intimate side of the relationship. It's all relationships.
yeah, and I would say it's still intimate. For me, intimate means
Mm,
closeness,
yes,
sharing, openness,
yes,
transparency, hard
yes,
conversations, care, right?
yeah.
So you have all of that in a friendship, and I
Mm.
think what you said is really valuable in that a lot of people don't take friendships to the same level of
Mhm.
seriousness or care that they do a romantic partner.
Yes, that's just, like, really sparked something in my head, and it's made me go like that that's potentially another reason that some people, feel the way that I do when a message is left unread, and some people don't. Like,
Mhm,
I do my relationships in all forms, like, I want them to be intimate, I want them to be deep, and I want them to be very transparent and
mhm,
honest and vulnerable, and, like, I really enjoy that, but I know that not everyone
mhm,
wants that kind of friendship, like,
mhm,
they don't wanna go there as much, and that's okay, and maybe I guess the standards kind of shift a little bit because of that.
mhm. Yeah, you do talk like a highly sensitive overthinker.
Oh, yeah, I am.
And and the thing about highly sensitive overthinkers, this is, of course, just my opinion, but it's almost like the world isn't ready for us yet.
Yeah.
You know, the world isn't ready for that level of sensitivity yet, so it feels a lot of the time like we're fighting to get it recognized, and, of course, we think it is a really good way to go, meaning why wouldn't it be better to be more caring, more sensitive, more
Mm,
understanding, more deep, more connected with everybody?
mm.
But
Oof.
we have to fight. We have to fight to get this highly
Yeah.
sensitive nature that's in us recognized. And I don't
Mm,
think that that's just a coincidence. I think that those of us who are highly sensitive are, in a sense, creating the space to
mm.
invite other people into. But in that process, there's a lot of fighting and ridicule and denial and
Yeah.
shaming, because a lot of people get shamed as highly sensitive overthinkers, right? You're too
Yeah.
sensitive. You
Yep.
you want me to respond right away, you want too much, right? That's things,
Mm.
it'll always go to those places, and that's not real, it's not true. It's just that there's a lack of understanding, and it's easy to shame other people for what you don't currently understand or have the capacity for.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that
Ah,
shame is a big
yeah.
one.
Mm. Yeah, I feel very, very seen in that, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, because it's so painful to be a highly sensitive overthinker in a
Mm.
world where it's not the common way of communication.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. Mm.
And I think so many people suffer. And that's also why I like to speak about highly sensitive overthinkers, because I think it gives an idea or a container to highly sensitive overthinkers where they wouldn't have that initially. It's almost like, you know, how some people search for a diagnosis because if they get it, it makes them feel like, oh, okay, at least I know what I have and can now deal with it.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
like that when you're a highly sensitive overthinker. I mean, when I think about my childhood as a highly sensitive overthinker, I was lost, swimming in a sea of confusion and misunderstanding. Like I felt so
Mm,
misplaced in this
mm,
world. It was unreal. And I didn't know what that was, right? Nobody came along and said, "Oh, you're a highly sensitive overthinker." I know
right.
how to care for you. I know how to help you. And
Mm,
and it was only through years and years and years of trying to understand that disconnect between me and other people that I came to realize how helpful it is to be able to say, "Oh, this is what's going on with me." And now that I know that that's what's going on with me, I can address it.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like
Right?
so many pieces fall into place. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you tend to have relationships with other highly sensitive people or do you tend to have relationships with others?
As I get older, I feel like I'm finding my fellow highly sensitive overthinkers for sure,
Mhm.
and have some beautiful friendships with them. I definitely, when I was younger, I feel like I attracted the opposite,
Mhm.
and I really struggled because yeah, I just felt like the odd one out all the time, and I still
Mhm.
do. I
Mhm.
still do in certain situations, like in work situations, very much
Mm.
so.
Mm.
Um, but I still have a few friends who are definitely not the yeah, the highly sensitive overthinkers, and they are definitely the ones that I struggle
Mhm.
um, with communication to the point where there have been times where I've I've kind of needed a break from the friendship and I've said, I'm not feeling like our communication is there. Like I've tried talking about this and nothing's changed. Like I just need to
Mm.
take a step back. I need a break.
Mhm.
And I'm very fortunate that they are very aware people. And when we've come back together, they say, like, did you feel neglected in the friendship? And I was like, actually,
Aw.
yes, I did. And they're like, I understand. Like, I can see that I was doing that. So I'm very fortunate that most of the people that I have that aren't the highly sensitive overthinkers have
Mhm.
the awareness in the end. Like maybe not at the time because
Mhm.
they're in their world and they're acting as they act, but definitely afterwards they've been able to reflect and be like, okay, you know, what can we do to help this?
Aw, well, that's so nice.
Yeah,
That is really
yeah,
nice.
very
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful, and I hope that all people who are very sensitive can have that kind of dialogue with people in their life,
Mm,
instead of
mm,
just sinking deeper and deeper into despair. And what's interesting, you had me think of something earlier when you said a lot in the past, you'd be attracting people who were not that sensitive, and you always felt like the odd one.
mm,
What I find is really interesting is that if you take a highly sensitive overthinker, and the reason I use the word overthinker is not to shame the thinking, it's to make the case that there is some when I say it, some people say, "Oh no, I'm an underthinker," which I laugh at. There's people who don't think much. They don't. It's not that they don't think much. I don't think that's possible to be a human and not think much, but they don't spend a lot of conscious time and thought, I'll say that. They don't really
Yeah,
spend time thinking about the things they're thinking, if that makes sense.
yep,
Then you have the
yep,
people that think in a very balanced way. They have feelings, they have thoughts, they take action, everything's very balanced. And then you have the reason why I say highly sensitive overthinker is because those who are highly sensitive, like I said, in a sense, they're forced out of the body, the physical experience, and they go into the mind to try to figure out what's wrong with them. How do I act? What next step should I take? How am I going to be able to navigate this without being called too sensitive, to this, too high maintenance, to that? And so they spend so much time in their heads trying to figure out how to be in this world. And that prevents them from taking action, and it prevents them from
Mm.
taking risks, and it prevents them from making mistakes. And the thing that I've noticed is when you pair one of these highly sensitive people up with someone who's not highly sensitive, it's always the highly sensitive one who's getting the finger pointed at them saying there's something wrong with you. Right? The highly
Yes.
sensitive thinker never says, "Oh, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you." It's like, I mean, you might be saying there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this communication, but we're really quick to point the finger at the highly sensitive people and tell them there's something wrong with them and they have to like fix that. You have to fix that
Mm.
highly sensitive. It's not normal. And I think
Mm.
it's so normal. I think it's so normal. And it what I have found myself doing over the years is I protect that very, very fiercely. Meaning, it's almost like when I think of how people talk about a bear and a mom bear and the cubs. It's like if somebody says to me, "You're too sensitive," I have the opposite response now, where maybe in years past I would feel so bad and sad and wonder what was wrong with me and figure out how can I be. Of course, there wasn't a lot of transparency in me at that time. I didn't know how to express the degree of sensitivity that I had. But now it's like if somebody says you're too sensitive, it's like, "Oh no.
Mm.
Sorry, that we don't that's not gonna happen. That you're
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
shame me into believing that me being sensitive is not appropriate here." Right? You can
Mm.
say that you don't like my sensitivity. You can say that it's not suitable for you. You could say you don't wanna have a friendship with me, but you can't say I'm too sensitive.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I feel like as I've gotten a bit older, I've accepted it more within myself, and I've come to see it as a beautiful thing. And I think going to church has actually really helped with that because
Mm,
they encourage and they love the show of emotion. Um, and I feel like that has helped me to accept things a bit
hmm,
more as well. Mm.
that's so beautiful. What do
Mm.
you feel like is still not accepted in yourself in
Um,
terms of the sensitive? Is there anything?
I think it's more the situation that I'm in, like the environment that I'm in. Like if I'm in an environment with friends, and it feels safe, then I feel I feel okay about it. But if I'm in an environment like work and something stressful is happening, or I've got things going on that's just kind of piled up, and the straw that broke the camel's back moment kind of thing, with some stresses, and I get emotional or teary at work or in a work environment. That's
Mhm.
when I kind of go like, oh, like I should be more professional than that. Like
Mm,
I feel the need to put more masks on and to be more normal, for want of a better term,
mm,
um, in that kind of situation. So yeah, it's highly dependent on where I am and who I'm with.
mhm. Yeah. I wonder how the future could look when
Mm.
that sensitivity is okay at work.
Mm.
I mean, would we be having group intimacy conversations once a day?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we lived in
Yeah,
a world
yeah,
where sensitivity were valued, what would we be
yeah.
doing differently in the workplace?
Yeah, I feel like there would be more just check-ins. Like, how are you
Mm,
feeling? Like, how is everyone actually feeling today? And
mm,
not about the work day ahead. Like, in
mm,
general, how are you feeling? How's your emotional capacity feeling? Um, have you been sleeping well? Have like all the little things that contribute to us being able to deal with the stresses of work and deal
mhm.
with the everything that happens at work. But all those kind of things, they don't get addressed. It's like, oh, let's have a wellness month, and we'll have pizza in the lunchroom, and that kind of thing that doesn't actually do anything. But it's like it's the little daily things, like the little check-ins, and it's the little like, yeah, like I'm actually feeling really quite raw today because it's been a big week. Okay,
Mm,
cool. Like we're all mindful of that.
mm,
We're and it's not a like, "Oh, like, watch out for Emma, she's feeling a bit sensitive today." Like,
Oh, I hope
it's
not.
no, it would be more of just a, like, where's everyone at? And, like, genuinely caring where everyone is at, and, like, cool, okay, like, let me know if anything gets too much. Let me know if it kind of gets to a point that it's unmanageable. I feel like that would go a long way, and it's such a simple thing.
Yeah. And then pizza.
Yeah, we can have both.
I wouldn't wanna do away with the pizza altogether, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, do you ever think about do you have aspirations to be a business owner at any point in your life where you would create a culture like this or an environment like this?
Yeah, I spent most of last year, in business
Mhm.
full time, pretty much all of last year, and it just it wasn't the right circumstances. I didn't go into it with the right circumstances, but
Mm,
I definitely, I've definitely been in that kind of space, and I've run a couple of workshops for workplaces during that time, which was really great. And it was just essentially um, showing them like different nervous system regulation tools that they could
mhm,
implement um, via like at the workplace when they were feeling a bit stressed and feeling like they needed some time out. And that was really great. And it was at a workplace where it was like a federal government workplace, and I was just like, "Oh, like, let's see how this is received," because it was some of the practices were a little bit sort of, like, a little bit different, a little bit
right.
alternative, but it
Mhm,
was received really well, and I
yeah,
definitely like to do more of that. Like, I feel like that may be part of my path, like,
mm,
trying to trying to go beyond the everyday wellness things
mhm.
that workplaces offer, but it's I'm finding it difficult because, like, I know where I work, they're very stuck on what they do, and it requires a lot of thinking in a different way. And yeah, I'm not quite sure how I would break into it, but it
Mhm.
definitely appeals to me.
Yeah, I think that would be so great. The
Mm,
the move forward to bring more acceptance into the world around sensitivity. I could be
mm.
wrong. I actually love being wrong, but my sense is that everybody's sensitive, but some people have just become so good at blocking it out, and then others of us haven't become good at that, thank goodness,
Yeah,
because we need to have sensitive people in the world. But I
yeah.
think the people that aren't sensitive are if you get down to who they really are, but like I said, it's just been conditioned out of them and layer upon layer upon layer on top of that. Whether it could have been shame, they could have been shamed for being sensitive at one point in their life, and then they just boom, covered it up instead
Mm,
of instead of continued with it like you and I did.
yeah,
So I do
definitely.
yeah, so I feel like this has potential to make room for those people that have gotten so far away from their sensitivity to return to it,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
I agree. There's definitely people. I know people who have told me stories of more, and it's mostly been men actually, which
Mm,
isn't super surprising. But
mhm,
they've told me stories of, yeah, like I used to be a doormat basically. So they kind of went to the opposite end of the spectrum. I was a doormat, and I really like showed my emotions, and I got messed around with it,
mm,
and I had some bad experiences, and then I just, like, they admitted, they're like, I just decided to change. I just
mm,
decided to not be like that. So
mhm,
essentially, I shut it off. And
right,
it's really sad because they went to the opposite end of the extreme again with the tough guy kind of
mhm,
walls built up, and the not showing emotion. And yeah, it's sad because
mhm,
it's so healthy to have these feelings and to show them. And what I try to remember is, even though I can feel like the sensitivity of the emotions, I can feel the bad so deeply, I can also feel the joy and the
mhm,
gratitude and the love, like, to absolutely crazy volumes.
I get it.
So it
Mhm,
goes both ways.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's you're a beautiful container for both.
Yeah,
Isn't it? It kind of feels like I'm a container for both, and
yeah,
as much good as I wanna feel, I have to be able to feel that much bad.
Yes.
because the container only gets bigger when both sides can grow. You can't
Oh, I
grow
love
on like
that.
one side. And so like
Yeah.
they both grow this way, and that means you have to expand in your ability to feel bad and
Mhm.
expand in your ability to feel good.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So
Mm.
we feel bad and we feel good, and there's no denying it. When I feel bad, this feels bad.
Yeah.
The thing that I always remind myself, and I remind others of often, is that we can't take feelings as truth. We can absolutely take them as valid. They're 100% valid. They're not 100%
Mm.
true. I say that all the time. Your feelings are 100% valid. They're not 100% true.
Mm.
Let's talk about how valid they are and just move through them so that you can discern the truth.
Mhm.
Where's the truth in this?
Yes.
Because our feelings can tell us things that feel true. Like when I feel sad, I feel like there's nothing
Mm. Mm.
left. There's no
Mm.
tomorrow. It's pure sadness. And I don't feel anything other than that pure sadness. It's kind of like I remember one time in my life feeling like I was a beating heart, a pounding heart. That's all I could feel, was that I was this pounding heart. I didn't feel like a person. I didn't feel like anything else. You
Mhm.
feel like that, but you have to remind yourself this is temporary. It's an experience, and
Yes.
it's going
Yeah.
to wrap up, and I actually have control over when it wraps up. So, I'm a big
Mm.
fan of not being a victim to your feelings, feeling them
Mm.
for an allotted amount of time, and then deciding when it's time to feel something different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And deliberately doing something.
What are we going to do about these red messages?
Yeah. Um, look, there's definitely been a couple of people that I've said to, you know, if it's a pattern, like, and it's affecting me, I've said, like, um, I would actually really prefer if you didn't read my message.
Mm,
Like, if you, and then come back to it when you're ready. Like, it's funny, like, I actually really prefer that because I'm kind of
mm,
like, I either think, oh, they're like they've seen it and they're saving it for when they do have time,
mhm,
or I think, oh, they haven't seen it yet. They haven't had a chance to. So I've definitely said that to,
mm.
quite receptive to it. They've just been kind of like, oh, okay, like, and they've kind of explained, like, oh yeah, I've. They're like, oh yeah, I did see it and I read it, but yeah, I wanted to give it the time, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know that. Like, we don't
Mhm.
know these things.
Right.
So yeah, that's something that I've done, which has been quite successful. But I also think it's also like I also need to kind of take a step back and remember that everyone is different and we're not all going to do the same thing,
Mhm,
and that it isn't personal. Like, I think it's a lot of like reassuring the
mhm,
self that it's not personal. It's not. There's no danger. There's no
mhm. Yeah.
conflict.
I think too, what helped me a lot over the years is whatever I felt like I wanted from another human being, I found a way to give it to myself. And I know that sounds very cliche, but it's not a one for one. Meaning, if I am feeling upset about that, or whatever it is I feel. So let's just say I feel upset about it. Let's say I feel sad about it. What I do is I ask myself, what would you like to do with this sadness?
Mm,
It like gives me a little bit of control, and it
mm,
makes me less dependent on that other person.
mm, yeah,
And
I
that
like that.
really, really helps because, and I might say, well, what I would like to do is I'd like to send them another message and say, how's everything going? You
Mm,
know, because I think sometimes reminders are really helpful for people, meaning like I know sometimes if I'm super busy, I get something, I read it. For example, with emails, text messages I'm very, very quick with usually, but emails sometimes it takes me time to get back, and I do read them before I get back, because what'll happen is if an email comes in and I have a moment to read it, I'll read it, but I don't always have. For me, emailing takes way longer than sending a text message.
Yeah.
I have to actually write hi. I keep them somewhat formal still. So I say, okay, I don't have time to write back on this now. What I do is I usually put it on my calendar. I literally say, write back to so-and-so, and I put that on my calendar. If it's going to be tomorrow, I put it on for tomorrow. But so I read those first, don't get back right away, and then take some time to get back. And I know that there's so much going on in this world now where everything through to say, okay, did I forget any emails? But still, there might be some that go under my radar. And it's not because I don't care about those people. It's because the mind is fighting for space and all the bits of information that are thrown at it.
Yeah.
So I wonder, back to this idea of these printout sheets. And I'm not saying we have to have printout sheets, but what I'm saying is I wonder if there's something that helps us to, so that they know more, and that we don't hold them responsible to meet our needs, but we, in a sense, ask them to hear us out and know that it's important to us, and then do whatever they want to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really valuable, even just a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you see their character, and they see your character.
Yep.
Because isn't that one of the best things about getting older? I find is when I was younger, I didn't really give myself any time to explore people's character.
No.
Right? You just like, it's either magnetic and you like them, or you're repelled and you don't.
Yeah.
But there's no time put into building that understanding about who that person is. Now I put time in. I want to see who that person is. I want to see how they respond in many different situations, so that I get a good understanding of who they are and how I can relate to them.
Yeah, definitely. I do too. Now that I think about it, I like when we're young, and even like when dating and stuff like that in the teens and early 20s and things like that, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, like you're cool.
Right.
Like I'll hang out with you, or I'll date you, and like there really wasn't any thought put into it. It was just kind of like, and I think sometimes, I know for me in high school, like I had lots of different friends, and they were all so different. And I think not really getting time to know their character was probably the reason that I felt so lonely and so much the odd one out, because there was a lot of people in my life that, not to say they shouldn't have been there, because I think everyone kind of comes in and out for reasons, but I think I could have chosen differently and chosen to spend my time and energy more with some people and less with others, but instead of just kind of spreading myself around equally, because I thought that that was just the thing we did.
You had no manual.
No. Absolutely not.
and not a lot of good teachings either. I can't speak for Australia, but I can speak for what it's like here. And the things that we learn in school are far less valuable than all the things that I've spent my lifetime learning on my own, because it was never taught.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. No, I would love to see, I mean, I can tell how much you feel just by talking to you. And the capacity that you have for feeling, like you said, both the good and the bad. And I would love to see you do something remarkable in this world to help sensitive people feel more understood.
Yeah.
Even in themselves, right? Because I don't think we ever get understanding from other people to the degree that we want it.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, and
No.
if we seek that, we're always going to be, to some degree, disappointed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I
It's like,
think so.
And that's why I turn to God for everything. Everything. There's nothing that I don't turn to God for, because I know that in this world's never going to meet my expectations.
Yes.
I learned that
Yes.
early on. There's no way this world, I try and I try and I try to get it to meet my expectations, but it doesn't. And no matter
Yeah.
how many times I tried to make that happen, it never happened. And so that's when I
Mm,
said, that's it. I'm done with making this world the 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 one I'm going to look to
mm,
for my needs. I can't do that anymore. That's me being inappropriate, right? It's not the world being inappropriate. It's me being
yeah.
inappropriate. It's me
Mm,
looking for something in a place where I'm not going to get it.
yeah.
And
Yes.
it's been really amazing to experience life with that difference, meaning go to God with everything and then just
Mm,
be happy with what comes in the world and be fine with what doesn't.
mm,
That has changed my ability to operate as a highly sensitive person extraordinarily.
mm. Yeah, I can definitely see that because, um, as you know, like I am a new Christian, like it hasn't been very long, but the time things have changed it's so weird. It feels so slow, but it also feels so fast.
Yeah.
Um, the the differences in how I feel
Mm.
knowing that I have God to go to for
Mm.
everything, and I
For
can just
everything.
lay it all out, and there's no judgment. There's just
Exactly.
like I just get to lay it all out, and you're right, like having the expectations on the world and the people in it, we're
Mhm.
never going to feel fulfilled from that, but we can feel fulfilled from God. So
Mhm.
it's been a huge journey in a short time for me, and it's really good to reflect back on that and see how things have changed with my expectations already, and I'm sure they'll continue to change more and more as time goes on. So yeah, that's
Definitely.
that's a really cool thing to reflect back on.
Yeah. And it works. I mean, that's the cool
Mm,
part about it.
it
It really
does.
it really works. It's not it's not void of pain,
Oh no.
right? I mean, like, I still get hurt by the world all the time. So it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, if you don't have any expectations for the world, you don't get hurt. The
Yes.
world it's here to hurt us in a sense because that's what helps us.
Yes.
Every hurt is a help, and I know that you understand that. It's helping others understand that.
Yeah.
Helping others know that everything gets worked for your good, not just
Mm,
the good, but for your good. There's nothing that's hurting you right now that can't be turned to good
yeah.
when you have God,
Yeah.
especially. I mean, that's
Yes.
the truth of it. Right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's important to remember that it doesn't make the pain like less painful. You know,
Mm,
so all the people that are I a lot of times say turn to process instead of pills because
mm,
pills are quick fixes, and I don't just mean
yes.
the literal pills, I mean even the metaphorical pills. The
Yes.
quick
Yeah.
fixes, whatever the quick fixes, whether it's
Yep.
binge watching something, gambling, drinking,
Yep.
taking a pill, sleeping, whatever the quick fix is. Calling and
Yes.
gossiping about someone, that's a quick fix
Mhm.
too. It's not real
Mm,
change. It doesn't fix anything. In fact, it hurts it. But
yes.
if you go for process, you turn to God, you talk about these things, you
Mm,
share with Him all the stuff that's so heavy, all the stuff you want that you can't get. Even just
mm,
starting there. Like, hey, these are
mm,
all the things I want. These are all the things the world is not giving me that I want.
yeah.
And that process, it opens you up in so many rich ways. And
Mm,
I can tell that you've been opened up a lot. I'm so happy that you have
yeah.
God
Yeah.
and that
Me
you're on
too.
this journey.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. It's
Yeah.
been It's been huge and something that I never thought would happen, really.
Mhm.
I never saw myself here, but I'm so grateful for it. And um, the thing that I said when I was baptized and the pastor called on me and said, "Can you tell a bit of your story?" Like I just said, I knew that I wanted to get baptized because I've never felt so much love in my heart before. I said I've been the
Oh.
most uncomfortable I've ever felt in my life at times, but I've never felt so much love.
Mm.
So it's huge, and it's such a comfort in the
Mhm.
times where, you feel like you just need to get it all out and you just need to give it all over and just voice everything that's going on
Mm.
and just yeah,
Mhm. Well, I wanna really acknowledge your journey, acknowledge the degree of feeling that you have.
yeah, thank you.
And I think I think it has a larger place. Like I said, I think
Mm,
those who are super sensitive are carrying a little bit of a load, not just
yeah.
your load, but almost like we're feeling for all the people who aren't,
Yeah.
right? And it's a load. I mean, it's
Mm,
it's tough, but it's amazing because like you said, those lows also are what allow you to feel the joy and the highs.
yeah, yeah,
And in
definitely.
the process kinda way, not in the pill kinda way,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I'm so happy that we
mm,
got to talk about this. And
yeah,
do you have any I not that every conversation has to change anything. Change is fine if it's here, change is fine if it's not here. But have do you feel any sense that these future read messages are going to land any differently in your life?
yeah. I think it's solidified a lot within me I that everyone is different, of course, but I think the asking myself of like if I feel sad about it or if I feel irritated about it, and just really working with that, I think that is going to be really helpful. Um, yeah, to sort of take the focus off the other person and just allow me to do what I need to do and
Mhm.
feel better about it. I think that was really helpful.
Mm. If you ever reach out to me and you see that I've read a message and I haven't gotten back to you right away, s please, I give you permission and I'm asking you to send me a message and be like, "Hey, how's it going? Did
Yeah,
you wanna
yeah,
share?" Just anything because I really think that that's part of what we have to do as sensitive people too, is
yeah.
speak up. We have to speak up and we have to trust that that voice that's speaking up, even if it gets put down by others, is a voice that we need to
Mm,
speak.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, really honoring that we care, like,
Mhm,
and it's a
mhm,
beautiful thing, and that we
mhm,
want to hear from these people. Like, it's not like if we didn't want to hear from them, we wouldn't care. So,
mhm,
yeah, I think that's really great. Like reaching out again, and it is an act of care. So,
mhm.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah. And see where it goes, and see I mean, with me, I know pretty much know where it will go, but even with
yeah,
others, some people
yeah.
will react favorably, some people will react non-favorable, but you stay true to, "Hey, I just did something good, I used my voice to say
Mm,
my sensitivity belongs here in this world."
yeah, yeah. Mm, yes.
Oh, well, this has been really good, and maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year, maybe you'll come back on, maybe you'll have some
Yeah,
new updates
definitely.
about about the red. Maybe you'll be seeing green,
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe an
absolutely.
entirely different color.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any last thoughts or anything that this conversation sparked in you that you wanted to share that we didn't get a chance to?
Um, no, I think I'm just grateful for the conversation, and um it's it really was a comfort to me, and a good reminder that being this way, being highly sensitive is a beautiful thing. And
Mm,
I love that this is the path that you're on and that you're helping people because yeah, I definitely think you are the perfect person for it.
aw, thank you for that.
Mm.
That's beautiful. Well, thanks for being here today for Straightway Through with Gina, a podcast where we say it straight, we say it true, we say it with kindness every time to the best of our ability. If something hit home today, pass it on. Share it, like, subscribe, join the community. If it's time to say it straight to yourself, I have a daily journal prompt delivery system that gets you one journal prompt each day in your inbox so that you can get to know yourself more deeply and start saying it straight every day. Because when you say it straight to yourself, you can say it straight to others. I'll leave the link for that community in the show notes. Have an awesome day. Until next time.